What is up, guys? This is Lintheo coming at you with a deck profile of my Yang Zings, brand new deck profile to my channel, and I just absolutely love them. They're not as competitive currently, and they do get a little bit more support in the next set, but I just love the deck. Any deck that revolves around synchro summoning, I'm a sucker for. So we'll get straight into it, because this is such a cool deck. So the first we have is the very standard 3 Choin. This card is your tuner. This is where you base most of your plays around, and the card is just really useful. Being able to special summon himself from grave when one of your Yang Zings is actually destroyed, he's just so useful. Being a light tuner is just so good. Then we have your beat stick of the deck, 3 Susani. Susani is just a really useful card. The extra 500 attack that it gives monsters really beefs them up quite nicely, and I really just do love the card. You run 4 of them, definitely. I feel that you run 4 of everything, bar 1, but you'll see that in a sec. Then we have Bane. We really do like this card because he is from Batman. Now I'm only messing. I was very tempted to make a Bane joke there, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. So you'll just have to deal with that. Anyway, so yeah, Bane is really useful because he makes you vulnerable to dying from battle, the monster dying from battle. So he is really useful. And I do run 3 of him because he's level 3 and it's really nice. So having 3 of him is quite useful. And then the best one, in my opinion, is Bixie. Bixie is the best, in my opinion. He's a level 2 with a big ass 2000 defense, dead ass. And his effect is just, you're unaffected by traps. The synchro that comes out is unaffected by traps, which is a huge advantage. So he is run at 3. He's absolutely amazing. Then the 1 is Polu, basically the wing guy, because there aren't that many spells in the game currently that you don't really want to run into, that you're not going to run into, apologies. And that's the reason I play 1 of him. He's a level 1, he's not that great, but he is useful at times. Then we play 2 Junk Synchron. Junk Synchron is there for Beazle access and also level 5s and so many other things. But he is just really useful for the rank 5 plays very quickly. And as I said, access to Beazle is just so useful. Or BLs, whichever you want to pronounce it. So many people have different opinions of it. Then we have the 1 Mask Chameleon. Mask Chameleon is a useful card, but I only have 3 targets, which is the Fire Yang Zing. But he is a nice top deck, and he's just a nice card in general to have. But at current testing at 1 has been great, and I much prefer him at 1. So those are the monsters. Going into the spells, we have the best spell card in the deck, Yang Zing Path, just your better Pot of Avarice. The amount of times you can rip this and just go absolutely nuts is just so useful. The no restrictions on it is the craziest bit for me. Then we have the 2 Soul Charge. Soul Charge is just great because you can just leave your monster on the field when you synchro up on the field because it's unaffected by loads of things, can't die by battle, you know, if you play it right and that. So Soul Charge just means that you can do some nice plays. Then I played 2 Supply Squads. A lot of people actually don't like Supply Squad in the deck, but I feel that it's actually really useful, and because the deck's a little bit slow currently, you want to be able to get moving straight away as soon as possible. So having 2 Supply Squad is working out very well. I think 3 is too cloggy, but 2 has been very nice. 2 MST because we don't like back row and we don't like macro and D-Fissure, for example. And then the 1-offs, the 1 Dark Hole because Dark Hole's still amazing. The 1 Book of Moon because Book of Moon is a really good card. And then finally the 1 Mind Control. Mind Control is just good because you're a synchro player. Also Book of Moon's good for the Winder of the Shadows. You just don't want to see that card on your side of the field, on your opponent's side of the field. Going into traps, we have the 3 Yang Zing Creation. This trap card is just so brutally good. The fact it's when any of your monsters are destroyed, you can special summon. Only restriction is that you can only synchro summon, but it's not that much of a restriction in the end. So the card is just really useful. Then one of the best ones is 3 Skill Drain. The deck has the ability to main 3 Skill Drain because of Bixie, which is the water. It's just so good. Being able to summon your boss monster that is unaffected by Skill Drain is just so broke. There are amount of times that I've summoned Baxi which is the Synchro level 8, and it's unaffected by my own skill drain. I've just bounced everything and just beaten my opponent down. It's just brutal. Then we have the 2D Prism. We don't like shadows, we don't like any, you know, hands or anything like that. So this is just a really useful card to have in the deck, and it's just great at 2. Then 2 Needle Sealing. This is one of the ones that I run. I really like Needle Sealing. It triggers all of my effects as well, but it also punishes my opponent for going off. I also do set as well in this deck because you don't want to leave all your weak monsters face up in attack position. So being able to Needle Sealing my opponent, it always catches them off guard. So it works out really well. Then the 1 Torrential Tribute. And finally the 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, because Bottomless Trap Hole is a boss. Then going into the extra deck, we have 2 Baxi. Baxi's a great card. He's just so brutal. I think he's borderline broken this deck, because the amount of things it just does is just so brutal. In the feature today, in the Brotherhood feature, this guy was brought out by the Zing player with 4 of the Zing monsters. So it was the fire, the earth, the wind, and the water. And he was unaffected by spells, traps, couldn't die by battle, got extra 500 attack, I think, and also obviously with the light tuner, and he just returned 4 things and just went broke. So yeah, it was pretty crazy. Have the 1 Star Eater because you can make it, and having a Star Eater that, you know, is unaffected by traps and everything like that is very nice. Again, same Star Eater with the Leo. Leo is actually a lot easier to make, but Leo in this deck can get so pumped so quickly, and he's just so broke. The amount of times I've brought him out on 3/6 is just so good. Mistworm, really great card, Mistworm, because you can do it in your opponent's turn. The amount of times I've just had the 2 level 4s, and basically you can, if one of your Zings dies, you can special summon the fire, and then you can special summon the other one, the level 1 from grave if you have it in there, and you can just make some crazy plays, and especially doing it in your opponent's turn. Mistworm really punishes your opponent. 1 Scrap Dragon, because Scrap Dragon's a great card. 1 Crimson Blader, because shadows are a thing. There are a lot of high level monsters in the game currently. The 1 Beals. Beals is just broke. If you can get him out, he's normally protected by traps and things like that, and he's just so good. It's such a pain for your opponent to try and even get over him. The 1 Ancient Sacred Wyvern, because you can do an OTK with this. The 1 Black Rose Dragon, because it's nice clearing the board. The 1 Go-Yo, because this card, when it's unaffected by traps, is just stupid. The 1 Armades, some standard level 5s. The 1 Catasta, because, you know, if you're not playing against a dark deck, it's really useful. And then the 1 Samara. Samara's really useful. I really like it, especially when you summon it with the, obviously the level 4. He becomes 3/1 in defense, and he's just very difficult for your opponent to get over. So it's a nice little stall card, and it has been testing very well. And then finally, Underworld Fighter, because you can summon this with, you know, a lot of different things, but you will normally summon this with Bane and the level 1, and he just then can't die by battle, so you can just keep poking and, you know, getting the effect. So that is the deck profile, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's the first kind of attempt at the deck for me. I have been testing it, and this one has been the most successful so far, so it's been really fun to play. So I hope you did enjoy the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I shall catch you guys later.